Okay, we are recording.
Yay!
Yay! One of these days, Aaliyah will not be phone dumb and will be able to navigate this thing so much more efficiently than what she's doing right now.
Well, it's trickier when it's on your phone.
Okay, we'll use that excuse. I like that excuse. Okay, so I've not posted the calendar for this upcoming week. And I was supposed to do that last night. But I wanted to let everybody know that Morgan does have a new chat on Wednesday evenings. Is it 7 p.m. Eastern? 8 p.m. Eastern. 8 p.m. Eastern time, and it's called A Cozy Little Witch with Morgan Le Fay. And I know that she had a great showing last week, and I think it was a lot of fun. I heard a lot of good stuff came out of it.
Oh, we had a blast.
Tell us a little bit about what it is, Morgan.
It's just like coffee chat. We sit down and we chat, but it's a subject matter. Last week it was Ouija board or talking boards.
Okay.
We had a lot of turnout because people were like, ooh, I've messed with one, but I don't know how to use one.
Okay.
So it was a lot of fun. It really was.
Good.
I was in that class, and there was a lot of questions and a lot of good questions in that class.
Yes,
we had a good time.
Good. I love it. I love that you're able to share, especially because there's a lot of misconceptions around with spirit boards and Ouija boards and all of that. And if you don't know what you're doing, it can not be a fun experience. But under the guidance and learning about it and how they work, I think is really wonderful. So I'm glad that you did.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. So this week I want to talk a little bit about spirit perceptions.
Mm-hmm.
Our perceptions. Okay, so just to give you a little bit of background into my career background. There once upon a time, Leah Dawn was a human resource director, and perception was the name of the game in that business. And how people saw and viewed things was very, very important. It was a crucial part of the business because somebody could, especially in sexual harassment kind of cases and violent harassment, workplace harassment kind of cases, somebody's perception and view of what was actually going on was what we took into account. Okay, the laws revolved around the human perception. And what I found really interesting in my mediumship work is that once spirit has crossed over and they remove themselves from the human ego, the mind, they are able to view perceptions from their loved ones in a whole different way. Their perceptions, okay, so, you have your mother. I'll just use this for an example. You and your mother have a different viewpoint on something. I'll use this for an example. A woman is married to a man and her mother hates him in life. And then she passes away and she's able to see him through her daughter's eyes. And suddenly everything softens. And the person says to me, yeah, but my mother hated him when she was alive. She just didn't understand anything. She didn't understand any of it. And I say, yeah, but she's seeing it differently now because she's seeing it through your eyes. And I think that is one of the most beautiful transitions that we can make when we do crossover, is that we are able to see how somebody views something in a whole new light. We're able to see how they see things instead of through our own ego mind and our own experiences. And one of the things that I've been noticing lately in the world, and I'm sure if you guys watch the news, you probably notice it too, is that there's this me, all for me society kind of thing going on. Did y'all see the video clip on the woman in Pittsburgh?
Which one?
The one where she was walking down the street and the guy knocked her out, punched her in the face, knocked her out, and she laid there cold and unconscious. Did you see that?
I think I've seen it on Facebook, actually.
So this woman was knocked out cold and laid unconscious. And people on the street, nobody called 911.
Oh
People
my God.
people just walked by her. People would walk by her, they would kick her, they would take selfies of her. One guy actually laid down beside her to take a selfie of her. Another guy pickpocketed her, took her money out of her wallet and her credit cards. And this went on for a good 15, 20 minutes, where people just walked on by her. Nobody did anything to help her. And yeah, and so part of me, I just started to get, I was like, this is what our society is being viewed as. This is an ugly look at our society. And when people see things like this, we see our society as something very dark. And then there was another instance where that same day or the day after, and I don't remember where this was, I have to go back and look. But a guy was going down the road and scraped the side of 9 other cars and kept on going. On his way, he hit somebody and just kept on going. He's like, oh shit, I got to take care of me. I got to get out of here, right? So there's this whole me kind of society thing going on when we see things in the news like this. But then all this publicized news about this woman getting beat on the street and this woman who was, pickpocketed and people were taking selfies of her. I watched a newscast at the end that showed this woman who was, she didn't want to talk to the reporters, but she was a woman who was on heavy drugs and she was living on the streets and she was refusing. They wanted to help her. So the news media got wind of this woman because of what happened to her. And at the end, her mother got involved and they were actually able to save this woman and get her into a rehab center.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yep, and the counselors who took her in are doing it for free.
Oh.
And so I was like, here is this really horrible, awful view of society that we see, but from it, something really beautiful has occurred. This woman's life changed because of that devastating moment in her life. And so oftentimes we may have these periods of devastation and we don't understand it. And we may have these periods where we're viewing things in a very ugly way. We're viewing the world in a very dark way. And we don't understand what's happening. We don't understand, why it's happening to us. We're good people. We try our hardest. We don't understand. Having faith in the universal laws of energy, having faith is knowing that sometimes in our darkest, deepest moments, that something really beautiful can come out of it. So I want to ask you all a question. And I want you to be truthful in your answer. When you look at the world, what do you see?
Oh, wow. I see dark and light.
Okay.
I think all of us have our moments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about you, Steph? When you look at the world, what do you see?
Well, at the moment, Alea, I feel very sad and very, very unhappy about what's going on in the world. Today, I don't know if anybody knows, but today is Black Monday in South Africa, where they're protesting against the murders of the farmers at the moment. And it's just very, very sad that, that these horrible things are happening, and, and I just feel as though I can't do anything about it,
Yes, I do know. Beverly, what about you? How do you feel? When you look at the world, what do you see?
I'm skeptical of how this world is today. And I often wonder how much longer it can stand with people having the me attitude, because I do see it. And I care for seniors, and I see hope in them, even though they're there. They have hope that someday that they'll be able to go home. And it breaks my heart for them because their families have stuck them there and don't want them and don't come and visit them. And it just makes me really sad to see situations like that happening in this world.
I agree. Nicole, when you look at the world, what do you see?
I can only talk for a second because I have my child running around here. But
Okay.
so if it gets loud, please excuse it. I see entirely too much fear. I feel like everyone is just in this state of fear, whether it's related to government or whether it's related to just personal things in their life, like relationships and self-image. It's like everybody's focused on what they don't have and what could go wrong. And I know, honey, she walked away. And all of those other things. And because everyone's so afraid of the bad things that they don't have the time to focus on the good. And it's like those of us that are in the United States see what's happening. And it's just really sad that people can't find a way to kind of get along and understand each other. It's just too much anger and fear.
I 100% agree with you. I 100% agree with you. I think what's happening is that we look at the world and we see a bleak perception. We see a bleak perception. And then fear begins to ravel itself or unravel itself. How many of you don't watch the news anymore?
I've really cut back on the news.
Because it makes you sick to your stomach, right?
It does. Yep. It's horrible because you see these things happening and, one person, you sit there and then you feel sort of guilty for not being able to make the change that you would like to see. Mm-hmm. There's just so much that, I would love to see change the way that people treat each other and speak about each other and just judge everyone and their lifestyle or, their religion. And it's just horrible. And the more you watch it, the more you get kind of frustrated that you can't make a change. You can only really change yourself and show those around you that certain actions are not the way things should be, which is what I try to do with my children.
So I had a friend of mine tell me, Aaliyah, you need to get angry. You need to get angry and you need to speak to these things and you need to speak, you need to let your voice be heard and you need to, let people know how angry you are regarding what's going on in the world today. Because we're damned. We're damned. We're a damned society. And I said, no, we're not a damned society. And, I don't like seeing the things that I see in the world that are so bleak. It breaks my heart. It hurts me. It hurts me to see that people treat each other the way they treat each other. It hurts me to see that governments are up in arms and deceiving their people. It hurts me to see that people will fight with each other over things that government is doing.
Yeah.
But at the same respect, if my perception is only on the ugliness, and the ugliness is only what I'm going to see.
Yep.
And if that is the case, then the fear starts to unravel within me. And when the fear starts to unravel within me, then what happens is I become individualized from everything else. I want to protect me, me, me. You know what I mean? I'm not expanding my consciousness. I'm not expanding who I am. Oh, can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, phone dumb. I'm not, if I am only focused on what's bleak and what's wrong with the world, then I'm not doing my part to help bring in what's right in the world. And so I'm not angry. It hurts sometimes to see the hard things, but I'm not angry with the condition. I don't think that we're a damn society. Let's just put it that way. I don't think that we're a society that's damned to hell. If you were to rip off all of the bones and the skin and the blood and the organs and all the gooey stuff that makes us human, what you'd be left with is a spiritual being. And at the base of every single spiritual being is unconditional love. It's who you are. It's who you are. But when we start putting all the organs on and we start getting all the gooey stuff that makes us human, then ego mind perception starts to take place and starts to take over. And so, he was, my friend was telling me about, the folk music back in the 60s. And I said, okay, so the folk music back in the 60s was all about love. It was all about, all we need is love, to quote, I think it was John Lennon. It was all love-based music. And I think they were very progressive in a time where people aren't even there today. I think some of these singers and songwriters of the 60s and 70s were very progressive in their thinking because the premise is that once we start to see the beauty in everybody, once we start to see the beauty in this world, if you look outside and you turn off the news and you look outside, what do you see? You see a beautiful planet. If you go out into nature and you just walk around, what do you see? Where there's no noise, what do you see? It's so beautiful. This world is so incredibly beautiful. I was just talking to Morgan about going and seeing the West Coast and how beautiful I've heard it is. If you turn off the noise, what do you see? That is the base of who we are. We're here because we match that vibration. It's what we do with it that makes me angry. It's how we see it that makes me angry. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I think that when we start thinking about the ugliness in the world and all the bad things that are happening, and we look at people who are fear-based, their fear-based mentality is coming because their perceptions of the world is so skewed and ugly. And the reason why they are because they're in survival mode. The reason why they're acting out is because they're in survival mode. And so the law of divine oneness, what does it tell us?
We
The
are
law of,
one.
yeah, we are all part of it. We are all one. That everything that occurs is our responsibility. And so we see the bleakness of the world and we say, I don't know what I can do. I feel so helpless. I feel so motionless, and I don't know how I can help. And the way that you help is that you help by first understanding that a part of the responsibility is within each one of us. And what we do with that responsibility is how we affect the people around us. And when we begin to affect the people around us, then the people around them become affected, and the people around them become affected, and the people around them become affected. And it just kicks off this little whirlwind. And that's how we begin to change the world. But it starts with one person, or it starts with an individual who recognizes that I'm a part of this. It also starts with the understanding that bad things are going to happen. That bad things are going to happen. that terrible, terrible things are going to happen. But the balance of that is that sometimes something good comes out of it. Maybe it's knowledge. Maybe it's awareness. Maybe it's growth. And we look at the horrific events that happened during World War II in Germany and Poland and all of that. And we think, God, how terrible and horrible the events that it took place there. And yet we've learned and we've grown as humanity, as people, that those kind of actions won't happen again. Do you know what I mean? We sort of know, we have the knowledge of the what's the word I'm looking for? Of how to treat humanity and how to treat people. The United States had its own little concentration camps that a lot of people that you don't hear and people don't talk about.
Japanese encampments.
Yeah, and those kind of things, what's come out of it is knowledge and awareness and growth. And unity in a lot of cases, and even tolerance has come out of it. And not that I think that, but the bad things are going to happen. The universal law of polarity says they have to. They have to happen. They have to happen in order for us to grow, in order for us to experience. Can you imagine being dropped off in a world of lollipops and bunnies every single day with nothing but pleasures and nothing but everything we've ever wanted? Well, we wouldn't even know what we wanted. Because if we were here and everything was given to us and there was no desire, there was no wanting, there was no needing, there was no reason to learn, there was no reason for awareness, can you imagine what that would be like?
I don't want to.
You know what that would be like? That would be like you were in spirit.
Yeah.
Because once you transition, there is no want or desire. There is no need to learn. There is no need to gain awareness. You're just in unconditional love. Your perceptions are beautiful. Your perceptions are balanced. Everything falls into balance. So the reason why we come into these bodies and get planted on the earth is for the law of polarity in the first place. We want to want. We want to need. We want to desire. We want to learn. We want to experience. And so if we didn't have adversity, there would be no desire. There would be no need for desire. There would be no need for knowledge. There would be no need for growth. There would be no need for any of it. There would be no need for us to even be here. That's the point I'm trying to get across, is that we have to come to an understanding that things happen in order to help us grow in our experience. Things happen in order to help us learn in our experience. We're not here to grow and learn. We're here to experience. But in the experience, we get to grow and learn. Does everyone understand that?
Yes.
And so when we look at these adversity things, we can say, okay, I'm thankful for the awareness that this has taken place. What can I do? What can I do on a singular level to stretch out my unconditional love, or to bring more awareness, or to bring more knowledge? And I think everybody here, or everybody in the world, we're all here for different experiences. We all are here for a different kind of experience. And there are some people in this world who want to come and experience and become a warrior or a battler, or so they go out and they fight these wars, or they go out and they do these protests, and they bring more awareness. That's what they came for. They came for that experience. They wanted to feel what it was like to help a community or to protest and make change. That's what they came for. And other people, not all of us not all of us can go to South Africa and make change, for instance, right? So what can we do with it, Steph?
Well, I think we just need to, like you say, Alaya, we have to learn through these mistakes. We have to learn through what's going on, and I hope that the country will learn, and I hope something good does come out of what's happened now. And it's no use getting cross. It's no use getting angry. I think you just have to try and put out love, and and somehow do it that way rather than have horrible words about stuff. You know what I mean?
Yes, but I don't think we have to learn anything. I think the experience brings us the learning, honey.
Right.
Okay, and so I think it's okay that we get angry, and I think it's okay that we get hurt, and I think it's okay that we have some fear. I mean, that's why we're here. We're here for the experience of all of that. But at the end of the day, we can't just be angry. We can't just keep fueling that anger. We can't just keep fueling that fear. At the end of the day, we have to believe in what we believe in. And maybe just sitting down and just seeing our energy spread across, praying, sending love, making awareness, sharing with people, telling people what's going on, let people know it's Black Monday in South Africa, not let people know, let people understand what's happening, and then send love.
Yeah.
And so I think when we do that, we are adding to that responsibility of knowledge, awareness, and love. And we bring something better to the table. And our perceptions become less skewed. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. I sometimes do worry about sharing these things, especially on Facebook, to just make people aware of what's going on, because it's so gruesome, and I don't really want to show everybody that how bad it is. You know what I mean? So I have kept back quite a bit, but every now and then I will put something up. Because the world must learn and see what's going on.
Yes. But see, there's that fear of. So what you can say, and you didn't have to share it on Facebook. Just sharing it in here made us all aware that something was going on in South Africa today that we may not all be aware of, But we can all join that community to share, let's just sit down and share some love for South Africa today. Let's just sit down and share some peace for South Africa today. Let's keep South Africa in our love thoughts for the day.
That would be so lovely. That's what they're trying to do today. They've asked everybody to wear black, and the whole community, the whole of South Africa has come to a standstill because they're all, wanting this whole farm murderers to stop now. Farm murders to stop, because it's just it's not nice.
Yes.
Quite sad.
I'm sure. So awareness has peaked in South Africa. So they're wearing black to honor those, right?
They're wearing black today, yes.
So in a way, they're educating their communities and they're growing.
That's right.
That's kind of beautiful.
Yeah, they're all standing together, just telling, and it's very peaceful. It's a very peaceful protest. There are thousands of people out on the roads today wearing black and just saying, please, can we stop the murders? That's all we want. We just want to stop the murders, because if they stop the farmers from doing what they have to do, they won't have any food. There will be a famine. And, it escalates to all sorts of other things as well, so
they're wearing black. They're wearing black to bring awareness.
yeah.
And with everyone who brings awareness brings knowledge and brings love.
Yeah.
So what if we focused on just the love of the awareness?
Yes,
Let's just support them. Let's support them. Maybe somebody can put on a black T-shirt today, or maybe somebody can, just take a moment and say a prayer for South Africa.
That would be so lovely.
So there's little things that we can do like that, just to bring love and awareness.
Yeah.
And sure, it highlights what's negative, what's happening in South Africa, but it also highlights what's really beautiful that's happening in South Africa. Because when people come together in a community like that, there is nothing but love.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so I think it's beautiful that the community is coming together. And to me, that's a positive aspect of what's happening in South Africa today.
It is positive, and as well, because it's not only white people out wearing black today. It's all the black people are also wearing black today, because they also don't want all that. They want to live in harmony. They don't want all this upsets and murders and things that are going on at the moment. They want it all to stop. So they are all out there, just trying to make the world aware of what's going on.
So when you see this progressive action taking place, Steph, does it change the way you view the world today?
Oh, it gives me hope. It gives me a lot of hope to know that they are standing together, and they are all of all different colors, and they're all standing next to each other, all wearing black, all wanting the same thing. It makes me feel so much happier knowing that that is going on, and they're all doing it for the good of the country.
So boom, you see how your perception changed from when we first made the call? In just a few minutes, there's hope.
There is hope.
Hope.
Very much so. Yes, very much.
How many of you watch the United States political wars on Facebook between each other, Democrats and Republicans?
Yes, and I'm sick of it.
Oh, isn't it fun? I try to keep my political opinions to myself, because it gets so obscured.
Yep.
And do you think when people are fighting like that, do you think they're fighting because they are in fear?
Yes.
They're fear of what the government's going to bring to them.
Yes.
And I had a friend tell me that we're all acting this way because of our president. It's because of our president, because he is that way. And so we're all acting that way. We're all following in line with him.
No.
It's been like this for years. It's been like this.
It's not because of one person. It's people are so broken in this country, and it drives me crazy.
And it's not just the Republicans, and it's not just the Democrats, and it's not just those who are neither Democrat or Republican. It's all of it. It's a fear-based mentality.
Yes.
We're afraid. We're afraid. But on the other side of that, every time an argument pursues, there is also knowledge that is being shared. People are learning. People are gaining interest. That's why you see so much of it. People are up in arms because not just because they are in fear, but because they are passionate about the world we live in. And that's an interesting take on it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're fighting amongst each other because we're afraid. Because we what? Because we love our countries. I think there's a lot of political movements in other countries as well. We love our countries. We love our homes. We love our lives. At the base of it, we're afraid because we're going to lose something in that passion.
Yep.
And so when people are so venomous and they're so political and they're fighting amongst each other, they're expressing their fears because they're afraid to lose what they're passionate about. And so I think when we start looking at it that way and we say, okay, so there has to be some understanding for what's going on here. There has to be some thought, if I'm stepping into the perception of that person who's so angry, I have to ask myself, what is he so angry about? Is he angry about is he afraid that the world he lives in is going to be a damn society? Or is he afraid that, his own family and his own needs are not going to be met? Is he standing up for something that he believes in so wholeheartedly that he inadvertently makes it an angry type of gesture? Or maybe even on purpose, he does it. He wants, because I was told to get angry. I was told to be angry, roar, yell. I said, I don't want to. I don't want to yell. I want to step into the perception. I want to change the perception. I don't, maybe I have to get angry to change a perception, but I'm just not an angry person. So, I mean, I have, I walk some dark paths myself. I'm going through a hell of a lot my own self. And I have to keep looking for the love base of this so that my perception of my life isn't damned. And so I have to keep on a positive stream, and it doesn't always have to be fluffy bunnies. I have to understand that that positive can come out of negative and vice versa.
Yeah.
But I can't keep, if I'm looking at these posts and these angry posts and people are fighting amongst each other, do I get angry with them?
Depends on what the issue is.
Depends on what the issue is. Depends on your perception of what's happening, right?
Well, like, I had a white supremacist issue on my Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to delete it after a while because I was blocking people left and right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm done. I'm seriously done with this crap.
Right.
So I deleted the whole post, and they started another post on my page.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, this is got to stop.
Mm-hmm.
It was one person who felt the need to call out people on my friends list who she thought were white supremacists.
Oh my.
And I'm like, I can't, no.
Mm-hmm.
Because, the old me would have rallied with her.
Right.
But the new me, the future me, is like, no, this is not what we need to do.
Right.
And I deleted it again. And then I finally blocked her because I was like, I've had enough.
Good.
Yes, we have those kinds of people in our society, but we don't have to dwell on that. Let's give them love and send love, unconditional, and maybe, just maybe, their hearts will change.
Yeah, and she's coming from a fear-based place,
Yes.
She's afraid. White supremacists, they're afraid. They have, we're only angry. We only get scared about those things that we're not aware of.
Exactly.
Fear is always about what's going to happen next.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying? Fear isn't about in the moment. It's what's going to happen next. I'm afraid that this isn't going to happen, or I'm afraid this is going to happen. Fear is always about what's going to happen next.
Exactly.
And so this person who was on your page is coming from a very fair place. Now, you can try to send awareness to her, and it may not work. So you have to set up some boundaries. What am I going to accept in my life? What am I not going to accept? I can block this person, and I can send her away with love, but I don't have to deal with it.
Yep, that's exactly what happened.
And then I can bring awareness to my own world about why I needed to make that change.
Yeah.
You see, and so that in itself, it makes you stronger and more aware that, okay, there is people who got this fear-based mentality. What can I do? What can I do to change that? What can I do to lend to that energy to be able to change that perception? If I step into her perception, I see that she's full of fear.
Yeah.
And I become less angry with her.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh,
I
yeah.
become less angry with her and more attuned to the fact that this person is living in fear. And how sad is that? How sad is that? And so we can send love to her. If she doesn't understand, then she may need to leave your premise for this moment until she removes that fear or comes into a new understanding. But then we can take what happened. We can take the bad experience of what happened and make people aware of removing the fear obstacles and making people understand why those fear obstacles are in place sometimes.
Exactly.
We don't have to get angry back. You know what I mean? And I think that when he told me to get angry, I said, that's like the opposite of what I'm trying to share here. That is not that, he's like, well, if you want more people to come to your stuff and you want more awareness, you have to get angry. And I'm like, well, that's not who I'm going to be. So I'm not going to be an angry person, not for any reason. I'm going to try to see through the perceptions of what's happening to the people who are spreading fear. And I'm going to try to be understanding, and I'm going to try to bring awareness that, to the others who are affected by this, that we can remove that fear obstacle and focus on love. And I know that sounds all fluffy. I know it sounds fluffy. I know it sounds fluffy bunny, but it's the truth. It's the truth.
But it's not frothy though, Alea. It's not really. Like how I felt this morning, when I saw what was going on, I got angry, and then I stepped back for a while, and then I got sad. I felt sad about what was going on, but instead of holding on to it, I would have done 2 years ago. I would have harbored that horrible anger, and it would have permeated into my home and into my surroundings and my friends.
Exactly.
So what I did was I just sat back and I said a prayer for them this morning, saying I hope it all goes well, and and then I had to leave it, and I felt a lot better,
Yes.
And I didn't hold on to that anger. I didn't hold on to it because I know it's going to affect my family as soon as they come home,
Yes. Yeah, how many has ever had a really bad day at work and gone home, and then you fought with your kids or you fought with your husband, or,
Yep.
Yeah. And you take work home with you and you're angry, and you're not really angry at the person. You're angry at what happened today at work. You're afraid.
Yeah.
And so I agree with that. And that's why I don't want to be angry. I have a healthy knowledge that there are things in this world that are maybe out of balance, and there are things in this world that are in balance, and there are things in this world that are very, very dark. I'm aware of that.
Yeah.
I'm not shielded by that, and I'm not shaded by that. But I also know that there's a lot of beautiful. We had a situation yesterday. I was in a really, really cool group. It's called Manifestation Babes. And it's got like over 30,000 people in that group. And basically it's a group of people who just, are learning to manifest or helping support each other manifest, and talking about different areas of manifestation. And a lady popped on into the group yesterday morning, and I saw her post come on, and she had 45 minutes to make $60, or she wasn't going to have a place to sleep that night. And I saw the post, and she said, how can I manifest it in the next 45 minutes? I'm afraid I don't have anywhere to sleep tonight. And another lady come on and said, well, there's 30,000 people in this group. What if everybody gave $1 right now? And so everyone started saying, yes, let's do it. And of course I jumped on the bandwagon. I was so glad that I had $1 in my account. People who were piss ass broke, they only had, $2 in their account, gave everything in their account to this lady.
Wow.
And yeah, so we ended up pulling together, and she made enough money to not only have a place to sleep tonight, but last night, but tonight as well, and maybe some food in her belly. And so it was this beautiful movement that was happening between people who were so excited to give and so excited to offer themselves in different ways. Even if they couldn't give, they were saying prayers and saying blessings and sending love. And then somebody came in the middle of it and said, oh, her first post said it was $12, not $60, so this is a scam. And the truth of the matter is I saw the post from the very beginning. I saw it when it got posted. So I knew she didn't do that. I knew she was authentic, what she was going through. She didn't ask for money. She was asking how she could manifest it. And somebody came in and said, hey, I have an idea. And so all of a sudden, this woman come in and started talking about how it was a scam and getting this whole post going. And this poor lady was just trying to survive for the night. And so a couple people got angry with her for doing this. How could you come in here and lie and affect such a beautiful movement? How could you do that? And at first I started to get angry a little bit too, because my whole reason for giving was so that somebody could have a place to sleep,
Yes.
And I thought about it last night. I was thinking about that woman, and I thought, well, I wonder what is making her so afraid that this is a scam. Has this woman been scammed before?
Probably.
Has her life been jaded by somebody who scammed her out of something really bad? Is she afraid? And so I began to soften a little bit. And I began to try to understand. This woman was trying to bring awareness to it. This woman's scamming us. She was trying to bring awareness because of her fear. Her fear. And so last night, I sat down. I just said a prayer for her too. I sent love, and I sent a prayer for her too. So there's going to be situations where you're going to find something really beautiful, and then something very negative is going to come in the middle of it. And it's okay to get angry, and it's okay to get sad, and it's okay to have emotions. But as Steph said, if you stay in it, that's when your own vibration begins to lessen. That's when your fears begin to heighten. And that's when you break yourself off from your own manifestations.
Yep.
Yeah, you have to let go of it. I think you really need to. But the thing is, Alea, in today's society, don't you feel that people are so worried about, especially this last about 2 years now, everybody's so worried about being scammed and being, I don't know what it is. It's a quite a scary situation, too scared to do anything, just in case somebody gets hold of your information. And
Exactly.
The technology today, I think,
because so many people have been scammed, because there's been awareness where people have been robbed and people have been scammed, and there is people out there who like to scam.
Yes.
So I think the fear is, if I give, I'm going to have something taken away from me.
Yeah, it's quite sad, really, when the society's going that way. Nobody will trust anybody anymore. Quite sad.
Exactly. Because we're afraid.
Yeah.
Because we're afraid. And I think the awareness of, the email post that came out and said, I'm sending you $1 million. Think about what that did. It made people aware that there are scam artists out there.
Yeah.
The little lady that gets the phone call that says, I want to help you, and she sends all her money.
Yeah.
It made awareness. It helped us to become more aware that there are people who are trying to scam us.
Yeah.
So there was a really horrible thing that happened, that we became aware of and we learned from. And then we took it to the next level and we started not to trust one another because fear started to set in.
I agree completely.
You know, there was a guy about a week ago, and unfortunately I didn't have anything to give, but he had a truck full of his stuff. It looked like maybe he was thrown out of his house, and he was part of the side of the road with a sign that said, "I need fuel, please help." And so sometimes you have to, like, you have to trust your heart in your giving.
Yeah.
And if it's not taking food out of your mouth, and if it's not hurting your family, and your heart says, "I'm doing this for a good cause," then you're not really doing anything at all that's negative. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, even if the guy that was sitting there said, "I need fuel, please help," even if he was a scam artist, and I gave him $1 or $5 to go get fuel, and it didn't affect my family.
Yeah.
But I was giving from my heart.
Yeah.
Because I felt this person was in need. Then the giving came from a good place.
Yeah.
It didn't come from a dark place. Now, with the person's responsibility and how they used it, that's on
their
them.
own issue.
That's on them, okay?
Exactly.
But when you give to somebody in charity like that from a good place, then you create a ripple effect of energy that's positive.
Yep.
That is absolutely positive.
Actually, I'm in a widows group, and there have been several women that have started trying to date again that have actually been scammed, and it's taking away from them, and where they're trying to get out and start moving forward in their life and everything, it makes them leery and not trusting, of people. Is this person going to try to scam me? What are they wanting from me? And I'm in that same situation. I'm starting to try to date again, and I'm leery of moving forward because I wonder, what type of person is going to come into my life.
Okay, so this borders on the line of personal safety as well.
Yeah.
When you talk about situations like that, and I think the awareness that women have been duped or have had really bad experiences, or women who have even been tormented by abuse.
Well, that plays a role too.
Yeah, there's a blockage that comes up that says, "I'm afraid."
Right. I have that fear of, if I start doing this, and I've went out on a couple of dates and never proceeded no further because in the back of my mind, I'm always thinking,
warning signs.
Right.
Warning signs. Okay. So when we look at that, we have to look at that from a self-love point of view. Okay. We have to heal what happened to us. We have to heal what happened to us first. And we have to learn to appreciate and love ourselves wholly for who we are. And when we do that, when we say, "You know what? Freak it, I'm a goddess." And and I have a goddess mentality. And when you start owning yourself and you start like really appreciating yourself and giving yourself the proper kinds of self-love, mindfulness, taking extra time for yourself, forgiving yourself, not being hard on yourself, changing the language you use to yourself, and then you begin to attract. I think that softens, and you begin to attract the right kind of person into your life.
Well, and I've been doing that and working in the tunnel group and everything. I have become more aware of myself and who I am and what I want in my life, and that I do love myself. Where before I didn't.
That's great.
And so maybe those gentlemen callers that you've been like, maybe your awareness is that, you know what, they're not good for me. They're not healthy for me. So why don't you just take a moment and say, I forgive myself for any blockages that I think that I have, because I may be so aware now that I'm using this and I'm repelling what could become a negative situation in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when the right person comes, I'll know it. My heart will tell me so. My
Right.
heart will tell me so. And I don't have to do it with fear. I don't have to be afraid. But if this person is causing bells and whistles to go off, then they're not the right person.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And that's basically what happened with the 2 dates that I have been on. There was just bells and whistles that said, this is not right. You know,
And so-
something is not right here. And I sort of just, left it as it was, and didn't proceed further.
So your self-love is what's come to the surface.
Right.
Is it a trust issue, or is it your self-love that's come to the surface, Beverly?
I think it may, like I said, I'm still in the learning process, and I've learned a lot in the 3 weeks that we've been, that I've been in the program, the other program you did. And I think it's more trust issues, because where I've been working with y'all for almost a year now, I have the self-love, and I feel like that I'm healing, and that I have healed myself. But I think it's more trust issues in the back of my head than it is anything.
So when you are with these dates and you're with them, are you looking at it from their perception of how they're treating you?
Yes.
And so
I had
then,
one guy that was just really, really arrogant with me.
okay,
And the first thing that popped into my mind is a narcissistic personality.
yep. And so that's your self-love.
Yep.
So what you're doing is you're damning yourself for having self-love.
Okay.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay? So we when we make engagements with people, when we make social interactions with people, and they don't fit, that's a sign. That's a sign that our self-love capabilities are to the surface, and we need to move on. Okay?
Right,
yeah.
When we make engagements with people who hurt us, and we and we hold on to them anyway,
right.
then that's self-love depreciation.
Okay.
Okay? For you to say this guy was really arrogant, and so I didn't want any of that because it reminded me of a narcissistic personality,
Right.
then that's self-love coming to the surface. That's not trust issue.
Okay.
That's totally different. Okay? That you honored a part of you that said, hey, not a good fit for me.
Right. I had done been with 2 different narcissistic men, so I knew the signs.
And you're working on the healing of that.
Right.
But what has brought you is an awareness of what a narcissistic personality is and how it presents itself.
Right.
So you have to honor that knowledge.
Okay.
You have to honor that knowledge, and you have to
Well,
say,
I do honor that knowledge today, because
Good.
I didn't learn about the narcissistic personalities and stuff like that until after my late husband was gone, and then you and I had a conversation, and it come forward that he had a narcissistic personality and everything. And it makes me more aware, and that I'm trying to heal myself and to be away from that, and not to be put down and not to be talked down to.
Good. And that's not fear. That's honoring your self-love.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
So I think it's good to have that awareness, because it honors a part of us that wants to be loved and wants to have that nurturing and wants that unconditional love piece.
Right.
And that narcissistic personality can make his way somewhere else and bring knowledge and awareness that it's out there to someone else, because you've already had that knowledge and awareness going on. You don't need any more of it in your life.
No.
Okay? Do you feel better?
I want peace and contentment in my life.
and so that's different. That's different. Okay? And so So I want you to, so when we start going, oh gosh, is it because I'm not trusting? Hell no. Hell no. If something doesn't fit right, then it doesn't fit right. And you don't have to get angry about it. You don't have to be sad about it. You can be like, you know what? I'm a goddess. I'm moving forward.
That's exactly what I do.
Good. Good. And for all those other widows out there, they can do the same thing. Something isn't fitting, something doesn't feel right, then move forward.
That's exactly what I keep doing.
And you can send that just like Morgan had to do with that lady on her page.
Right.
She had to send her away. She had to block her. She had to remove her. But she can send her away with love. And the understanding that I have enough self-love that I don't need this crap on my wall. You know what I mean?
Right.
Exactly.
Okay. Does that feel better?
Yes. Thank you for helping me to clarify that in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I'm looking forward to my spiritual empowerment.
Me too.
I can't wait.
Me too. Me too.
I have to run, ladies. Y'all have a good day.
You too, sweetie. We're getting ready.
You deserve the best, Beverly. You deserve the best.
Thank you.
We're getting ready to close here today, but I hope this conversation was helpful. Does anybody have any lasting thoughts or anything they want to add?
No, I just would like to say, Alea, thank you very much, my darling. That was so good. I really needed that today because of what was going on. And yes, I'm feeling a lot happier. Thank you.
Good. 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 Well, I love you all, and thank you for being here. I hope you're liking the new time of coffee chat. I was going to do it at 9 a.m., but then I remembered there's people like Morgan who are on the West Coast, and it's like 6 o'clock in the morning at 9 o'clock for them. So I wanted to bump it up at least another hour so that they could, if they wanted to join, they could. Because, a lot of people get up more at 7, 8 range. So I wanted to make sure that it was inclusive for them as well. And also to Australia, because, if I go any later, it's 10 p.m. at night for them in Australia. So coffee chat for them is like bedtime chat for them. But at the same time, it's sort of, I'm trying to keep everybody's time zone in check.
Lovely time, Alea, because it's 2 o'clock here for me in the afternoon. So that's lovely.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I hope you all have an amazing week. Thank God it's Monday. It's the beginning of the week. It's the beginning of the week, which means it's the beginning of the journey, which means that we are in creation mode. So thank God it's Monday. Let's honor our Mondays. And if you will, just take a moment and think of somebody who is in a fear-based mentality that needs a lot of love. Just put them in your mind and just say out loud, I love you. I love you, and I'm sending you love. And I'll leave that there.
Thank you,
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Bye.